رب اغفر وارحم وتجاوز عما تعلم إنك أنت الأعز الأكرم. Continue inshallah with our Tafsir. Ayah number 3. الله سبحانه وتعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Long ayah. حرمت عليكم. This is one of the ayat, direct ayat, talking about what's haram and what's permissible related to food, mainly. It's a big discussion. Always we talk about the halal, haram, it's permissible, what kind of meat is permissible or not permissible. Yesterday we have this event and one of the first question is dhabiha or not dhabiha and all of this discussion. Shall I try to understand this little bit? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, even in the same ayah in the end of it's a ni'mah from Allah, it's favorite from Allah that Allah purified us and take us from the Jahiliyyah way. The Jahiliyyah way when it comes to not only to believe but also to the lifestyle, what to eat, what not to eat. Islam came to change this, and this is very important. Islam put rules for us, not only in aqidah or in ibadah, but also when it comes to the food and the restriction, what's permissible, what's not permissible. Allah talked about Bani Israel, and He said that Allah asked them to do things, they didn't do it. Allah make their life difficult. And one of them make a lot of haram things for them. And to make as a punishment. When the people, they don't follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell them, when Allah asked them through Musa alayhi salam, اذبحوا بقرة, sacrifice the cow. Very simple. They can go, get any cow, sacrifice it, and they do what Allah asked them to do. But they don't want to follow the commands of Allah. They said, tell us this cow, what color? What's the characteristic of They try to make it difficult because they don't want to follow the rules of Allah. Allah made it difficult. They made it difficult for themselves. But in the same times, when it comes to the food, and especially the meat, we have very strict rules as a Muslim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first in this ayah describe what's haram for us. And this is the line that everybody have to know. And Allah mentioned al-Mayta wad-damu wal-lahmu al-khinzir وما أهل لغير الله به والمنخنقة والموقودة إلى, and we're going to go through this. So all of these, the ayah started with telling us what's haram. The first one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, al-Mayta. Al-Mayta, from maut to death. Any animal, dead animal, it's not permissible for us. And this is, of course, the dead animal is not healthy, is not pure, is not, so this is very clear. Exception. There is a hadith, there is two things that they are dead, but it's permissible for the Muslim to eat. What are they? Everything comes from the sea. هو الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم said هو الطهور ماؤه والحل ميتته. The water of the ocean or the sea is pure, is tahar, never become najis. And والحل ميتته, everything is from the sea is halal. General rules. It's clear about this. And so what's the second one that is halal for us? Dead animal, but it's haram. Other than everything from the, it's halal, but it's dead. Doesn't happen much here. Al-Jarad. Very good. Jarad is a locust. Anybody ate Jarad before? We don't even eat octopus here. Jarad is the locust. Came with millions. I don't know if anybody remember the Jarad. Jarad, when it's dead, it's permissible. It's halal. It's not because of the blood is different. System is different. So everything haram is not permissible except this two. And of course, this is why we have something we call tadhkiyah. When the animal is dying for any reason, you have to make it halal before they died, so they slaughter the animals. Either and it happens a lot. People who deal with animals, they have to know the tadhkiyah to make it halal before the animal passed away is permissible. The second thing, dam. Dam is the blood. The blood, every blood, it's not permissible. For the Jahiliyyah people, they used to do very, call it now, disgusting ways for this. If somebody is traveling and get thirsty, what they do, they come and they do cut in the animals, get the blood, and they suck the blood from the animal directly. So Allah said this practice is haram. You cannot, there is one of the Sahaba, he went back to his family, he became Muslim, and he find them sitting and eating blood. Literally, the blood, what it says, when it gets cold, it's cut. They put some blood and they are eating. He said, I came to you, talking about the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who made what you are eating haram. He said, who is this? This is the key how they bring them. And he tell them that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught me that the blood, you cannot eat it, you cannot drink it, it's haram. And he want the pure things, and we know, of course, scientifically now, the dangers of the blood. Blood carry all the bad things and can really cause a lot of diseases. So every blood is haram. Of course, we're not talking about the blood that after the zabiha or the biha you have the blood mixed with meat, and this is not included because this is what's left over. But we talk about the blood that it's running, dam al-masfuh we call it. It's not permissible to eat blood or to drink blood, except two things. What are they? Two things has blood in them, and there is al-kabid wa al-tihal. Al-kabid is the liver. Al-tihal, I need some translation. Tihal is al-lasuq. عارف اللسوق? So it's next to the blood. It's not the kidney, but it's what do they call it? Spleen. Okay. Anybody eat it? It's very good, very healthy. Now they're discovering that. So these two, they are all of them blood. And Aisha radiallahu anha, she told them this is talking about, because some people start making, this is haram, it has blood, the liver and also the spleen again? Spleen, okay. I see, okay. We used to eat it a lot. It's very healthy and very, either now, every day the doctors, they say the importance of the liver. Liver has a lot of very powerful nutrition for the body. So Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said in the hadith, every blood is haram except this two. And they are not blood, but they had a lot of blood, but it's different kind, and it's permissible to this. So when it comes also to the blood is mixed with meat and everything, it's permissible. But dam al-masfuh is the blood that comes from the. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ. لحم الخنزير, khinzir is pork, and the lahm. And here is very important. The Mufassirin talk about it. All the khinzir. Because Bani Israel, what they did, he said the lahm is not the shahm. Shahm is the fat. It's not the bones. They start making, and from the beginning, many scholars, we say, لحم الخنزير, everything related to the khinzir, skin, bones, and this is lead us to very important things. Some of the Jewish people were allowed to eat kosher, without doubt. I will arrive to this. But for them, they follow one of the rabbis in Leesburg. He told me, I wanted to ask him one time, for khinzir, what's their opinion? He says some of the rabbis, they allowed the fat of the khinzir and the bones and the skin. They say lahm means the meat. I told him, are you follow this? He said, no. For us, everything is haram. So sometimes when a food, canned food or anything, it's written kosher, but it has, according to their interpretation, has either fat or skin or bones of the khinzir. For them is permissible. And he said, consider this as tricks that they try to do this. Allah said khinzir is haram, pork is haram. They try to do tricks. So my advice, if you see a meat that it's kosher, it's clear. You see it there. But cooked things, you have to call and see what madhab are you following. Are you among the Jews who consider the fat and the bones and the skins not haram or not? So you have to be very careful. Not every kosher is kosher. And I want to share, I said this before also yesterday, I had to talk to them. My father, rahimahullah, and his uncles, they used to have, I said this before, they used to have a meat business in the 40s, next century, and 50s, and you know. And one of the things they do, we have a Jewish community. The Muslims, my father and his uncle, they provide the kosher to the Jewish people in the city. His uncle started this. How? So it's a big store. They're selling different kind of meat. Halal, all of it. But they have a section. How this section go? And this is very important. My father, who was young, and he take the rabbi every Wednesday, he told me, to the slaughterhouse. And the rabbi will slaughter the cow and you know, and they bring the meat, they put certain sign on it, and the Jewish people, they come to buy the kosher meat from the halal store. You know, this is interfaith. So my father tell a lot of story about this guy. He asked him, because he saw the rabbi following the exact way, and this is very important, of the biha. Means, of course, sharp knife, very sharp knife. And when he starts slaughtering, you start from this side to the other side without lifting your hand in one cut. And they don't go deep to touch the nerve in the back. They have very clean, he called it, way. So I told him, and they slaughter the Muslims, workers. They come and they just work for payment. This is why they do. So I asked him, how did you learn to do this sacrifice, the biha, this perfect way? He said, I learned from your shuyukh. Wallahi. He said, the Malikis, they have very strict when it comes to this. He said, I learned how the Muslims, his old man, how the old generation of Muslims used to do. And this is true. If you see the old people, the sacrifice, it's a form of worship. They started with the dua. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. And they add, Subhana alladhi qaddara alayka hada. What's Subhana alladhi? Say, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, Allah the greatest. I glorify the one who make this sacrificing qadar for you. Means what from this dua? I humble myself. I'm not killing this animal because I'm able to kill the animals. So the moment you're going to kill an animal, you have to humble yourself. And this is the second side that a lot of people, they didn't understand about it, about the halal meat. You have two sides. You have the technical side, which is very important. You have to follow the rules so the animals is not become jifa. Jifa is a dead animal that it's not permissible to eat. And this is very easy. The second part, which is important, is the spiritual part. That I'm mentioning the name of Allah, humbling yourself, and this is what bring the barakah. So this is how it is. And some people, you follow the technical word part, it's okay, but sometimes you miss the other side in the dhabihah. So so my father, he used to tell him, because they don't eat the meat of Muslims. Well, not because they don't follow the rules or anything, they follow the rules, but because of the, another way to isolate it, and because it's the same procedure. We mention the name of Allah, we do everything, and this is why Islam make the food of Ahl al-Kitab halal. And this is very important. And we have to share some stories with you. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, he has two things, because you're going to see another thing. He, one time, I mentioned this before, he was traveling in north of Arabia, and there is some Arab Christian by names. The Roman, they used to hire kind of tribes to protect their border, and they call them Christian. Oh, you have to be Christian, so the empire will give you help and give you, money and other things. He passed by them and he refused to eat their food. Said, Ya Amir al-Mu'minin, they are Christian. And Allah said, وَطَعَامُ أَهْلُ الْكِتَابِ حِلٌّ لَكُمْ. He said, these people, they learn nothing from Christianity except drinking alcohol. Why he refused? Because they don't follow the book of the people of the book when it comes to their food. So it's not about I'm a Christian country. It's about following the rules. So when my father described this rabbi, this is what Allah wants you. Say Bismillah, they mention the name of Allah, and they follow the proper way of slaughtering. He said, I'm not going to eat their food because they're Christian by name. They don't follow the rulings of people of the book when it comes to their food. And this is very challenging, very important. Of course, I'm not going to enter this discussion, but I'm going to say every opinion, we respect it. People who allowed it, but I'm telling you, I have to do some extra effort. Especially now, we have no reason to don't eat the biha. I'm telling you clearly. I remember 30 years ago, you have to travel to get some halal meat. Now every shopping center almost has halal meat. So there is no excuse for me. This is my own opinion, and I know some people. But because of the two sides, the technical side, which is very important, the spiritual side is important, and this is why Ali ibn Abi Talib. Another thing, Ali ibn Talib, he was serious about the food. There is one time he's in Al-Kufa in Iraq, and these two people, rich people in Al-Kufa, they said they compete between both of them. Everybody said, when I arrive to Al-Kufa, I'm going to slaughter 100 naqa, 100 camel. Whoever come first. They are competing, whoever the other person will pay. So they came and they start slaughtering cows. People, they're coming from Al-Kufa, from everywhere, and coming to collect meat from there. They said, the Sahaba, they said, Ali, we saw Ali ibn Abi Talib on the the mule of the Prophet ﷺ. And he's coming from Al-Kufa, telling people, don't eat this meat, don't eat this meat. إِنَّهُ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ. Because it was competition. And the meat, it's not for Allah. It's part of this game. It's like gambling, kind of. He tells them, stop eating this meat. It's not halal for you. And this is why we have to be a little bit strict about it, in meaning not to make life of people difficult, but it's big difference to eat, and this is why the ayah come very clear. So, number one, al-mayta. Number two, ad-dam. And lahm al-khinzir, it's very clear. Either wild, swine, or domestic. So there is different kind of dahm al-khinzir and all the khinzir. Can we use the skin of the khinzir in some things, belt or shoes? Or there is two opinions in it. Some of the scholars, the school consider anything from khinzir is najis. And some scholars, including the Maliki and others, they consider is not najis. You're not going to eat it. Allah said, don't eat the khinzir. And they have their opinion about this. But we're talking about meat. And then, قال وما أهل لغير الله. Anything be slaughtered or sacrificed for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the story of Ali ibn Abi Talib. We have to be very careful. I remember when we are young people, they used to go to the wali, the pier, and they slaughter things. And this meat, I remember when the sheikh, we are young, and they said, this meat, because they give it as a qurban, not for Allah, but for this wali to be pleased with them. Some others said, no, their niyyah is Allah, but they choose the place of the wali to do it. If the niyyah is for the wali, or the peer, or this, whoever the person, sahib maqam, without doubt is the ghayrillah, and it's haram. So we used to remember, tell my family, don't eat from this meat. It's not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But of course depends about the niyyah of the people. هذا يقول لغير الله به. It's not for Allah. قال والمنخنقة. المنخنقة is a way of the death, is strangle. The animals die, this form of death of the animal that it's haram. And al-Mawquda, the one that it fell from a high place to, and also al-Mutaraddiya, afwan, and Natiha, when the two animals, they fight, and one of them kill the other. This is also, it's Mutaraddi. وَمَا أَكَلَ السَّبْعُ. مَا أَكَلَ السَّبْعُ is what's left from the, when fox or wolf or any of the canine, the animals, they attack sheep or chicken or cows or anything. If they die from this, is also. So this is details for the way that the animal, قال وما أكل السبع إلا ما ذكيتم. Exception. I come out, this fox or this dog or attack the sheep and it's still alive. So immediately I do the tadhkiyah. This meat become halal and you can eat it as long as before the animal died. And this we call it tadhkiyah on the terminology. قال وما ذبح على النصب. Of course, any sacrifice that for idols. النصب, الأنصاب is the idol. قال وما ذبح على النصب وأن تستقسموا بالألزام. This is another jahiliyyah practice. It's a gambling, form of gambling. They use, say this is haram, and Allah describe this. So Allah talk about the meat that it's not halal, and then talk about al-azlam is of course is form of gambling that they used to form of gambling, any form of gambling. So whatever came from it is haram. The money of gambling is haram. قال ذلكم فسق. Allah described people who doesn't follow these rules. It's form of fisq. Fisq is the disobedience of Allah quickly. Al-fasiq, the one who with speed go to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a form of describing haram, but in a worse, in a bad way. There's people. ذلكم فسق. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ذلكم فسق. اليوم يئس الذين كفروا من دينكم. So we're going to stop here. There is a lot of discussion related about this. You'll be shocked about some of the animals that it's halal and not halal and the permissible. One of the things that it's a few days ago with my kids, and they saw the snails. So the snail, there is snail from the sea and there is snail from the land. And the snail from the land, for the Malikis, they have it's permissible. But you have a way to cook it. And this is why some people, the scholars, they used to teach people, the Maliki scholars, how to eat the snails halal way. Snail, they collect them from the forest and everything. Did you try in Morocco? Yeah, in Tunisia, and they eat. So one of the rules of the snail have to be covered with water. They cook it. They cook the water. Have to be covered. So it's not. If it's not covered, these is not considered halal. Have to be covered, and they have a certain rule. There is other discussion about the shrimp and about anything. The bottom of the rules. Here, of course, there is some scholars that consider it, and it's mainly the shell fish. Mainly, this is opinion of the Jewish people. They have more restriction. And the Sahaba, they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it difficult because of what mentioned earlier. But for us, the rule is general. I know some Hanafis, for them, they consider the shrimp and lobsters and all of this is not permissible. Other, they consider this halal. Octopus and anything come from the like why the kids, they said, can we eat shark? The shark eat people. I told them I lived in Caribbean. Shark is a fish, is halal. You know. The food of the shark is not the people. So the shark, it's not the best fish to eat. It's a little bit tough, but it's permissible without doubt. Almost anything. There is the question about the water land animals, like frog, like crocodile and all of this. There is many scholars that consider this. The rule doesn't apply on this. The same rules doesn't apply for this one. Even though some of the Maliki, they consider even the frog halal, and they have very I don't say loose, but they say they take it as it is, as it is. We don't say anything haram until we have proof. So the rules is everything is halal, except the one that Allah said they are not. And this is to don't make everything haram. So the rules is everything is halal until I find hadith or dalil that it's not halal. And this is make the rule. This is the deen. So we don't do the opposite. Everything is haram until we found dalil that it's halal. No, the rules in Islam, everything is halal until you find dalil that it's haram. So if everything is permissible until we find a dalil for that. Or, I will conclude with this, something that the people, like Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, dhab, it's lizard, kind of lizard. The Sahaba, they eat it, they slaughter, and they eat it, and they offer to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, said, halal, but nafsi ta'ifuhu. I don't feel. So it's not only about the halal and haram. Sometimes there's certain food we don't. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't eat it, not because it's haram, because it's like feel disgusting about it, and he didn't. So it's not part of the halal and haram is very. You don't like. I told the student, do you like octopus? Even though octopus now I told them one of the best dishes my mother, rahimahullah, do is the octopus, and they eat it in Mediterranean, sea around it. So some people do, it's okay, no problem, but don't make it haram for the other. And they conclude with this. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you don't like any food, don't say I don't like it, or yaki, or you don't know, maybe other people like it, as long as it's halal. So it's makruh, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. And if you don't like food, don't say I don't like it. Say I don't eat it. But don't say no, it's not. Don't say it's not good. Maybe some people have so. Do you have any questions or conclude about this? Yes. Yeah, very, very good. Somebody asked me 3 days ago. So this is the majority of this is a temporary question. And it wasn't there. What's the slaughtering machine? Now some of the halal places, every day they produce more than 250,000 chicken. Impossible with hands to do this. So to feed millions of people, so they have this machine things. What they do, the machine, they tip the chicken upside down, and the peak of the chicken will touch water that has electricity. Little bit. So they don't die, but they get some shock. And this shock make them relax, and there is blood that pass by. The person who pushed the machine, he said Bismillah, mentioned the name of Allah, and the machine. Most of the chicken halal is through the machine. So, a new question. The scholars in most of the Muslim countries, they make it's permissible and it's allowed as long as, but not every time that you turn the machine, you have the person have to say the tasmiyah, and it's halal. So the official opinion in Egypt, in Azhar, in Saudi Arabia, in majority of the Muslim country, the slaughtering through machine is halal, and there is nothing wrong with it. So this is opinion. No, this is a very important question. So the machine, if the machine shouldn't take the head off, we explained this before. Why? Because the nerve, spine. So the spine, if you cut the spine, the muscles stop and the bleeding stop automatically. The animal will be not halal if the spine been. So the machine, they very exact that they don't touch the spine. If they by mistake touch the spine and the head come out from the body, will be not halal. So they put it aside. So there is some regulation for this. This is why they said it's halal and there is nothing. Say Bismillah, inshallah, and we have to be sure. Yes. No, if they cut the head completely, the animal is not halal. It's very, okay, inshallah. Subhanak, yeah.
He's saying that the person pushing the button is not Muslim, but the blade has Bismillah in it.
Oh, no. They have to be, No, you have to mention the name of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, jazakumullah khair. Let's make dua, inshallah. Sorry to keep you. Last question. Assalamu alaikum. Last question. Yes, brother.
If you're hunting and you're hunting a bird,
very good.
And then you kill the bird, but you don't have time to slaughter it, is it halal?
Hunting in any way, in any form. You say Bismillah before the arrow, before you shot the gun. You say Bismillah, and if you are not able, you don't arrive to tadhkiyah, is halal. So you have to say Bismillah. Yes.
The animals from the sea and the ocean water. I think you mentioned that animals that are already dead, you have two kinds that are halal. But I was taught that if the fish has died in the water by itself, then that's not halal. When you fish it out, because sometimes it would have died, it would have been there for 3 days.
Yeah. This is another question that the scholars talk about it. Is it permissible to any dead fish that that died not because of the fishing? They say the Sahaba was traveling and they find a big well, been there outside, and they ate it. They said for 15 days they ate from the well. So the scholars, they consider if animal, as long as it's not diseases or anything, even if they died by themselves without the fishing, it's still permissible, as long as they don't have diseases or anything. So based in the practice of the Sahaba, some people say, this is a big well, is different. Some of them, they say, consider, no, it's the same. If the Sahaba and the Rasul ﷺ allowed to them to eat from the well on the shore, on the outside of the dead, so it's permissible for the others too. So this is the ruling. But we have to be careful. Most probably, when the fish died, there is something wrong with that. Allahumma inshallah, Allah provide the halal for us. Allahumma ya arhamar rahimin ya rabbal alameen. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا منه سالما معصوما اللهم لا تجعل معنا ولا بيننا شقيا ولا مطرودا ولا محروما اللهم برحمتك عمنا اللهم اكفنا شر ما أهمنا اللهم ارزقنا حلالا طيبا اللهم ارزقنا حلالا طيبا. اللهم يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين احفظنا بحفظك واسترنا بسترك وأرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. Oh Allah, show us the truth as a truth and help us to follow it, and show us the falsehood as a falsehood and help us to avoid it. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. The ayah didn't finish. Inshallah we'll continue tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.